Today, I will tell you a story about an old mother, a tiger that once killed, and a redemption no one saw coming. A tiger who became a son, a beast who picked kindness. Once upon a time, in the quiet hills of Zhaocheng County in Shanxi, lived an elderly woman in her 70s. She had only one son. The two of them depended on each other for everything. Life was difficult, but together they got by. One day, her son went up the mountain like he always did to get firewood. But this time, he never came back. The news arrived like thunder. He had been eaten by a tiger. The old woman was broken. She cried until she could cry no more. But through her grief, she pulled herself together and walked all the way to the county office to plead for justice. The county governor, hearing her wails, opened the court. He listened carefully, sighed deeply, and said, "This is tragic indeed. But a tiger, what law do we use to punish a tiger? This is complicated." The old woman broke down. She cried on the steps of the court and said, "I will never leave until something is done." She begged, no demanded justice. The governor, feeling both pity and pressure, gave up. "Fine," he said. "We will catch the tiger." But the old woman wasn't done. She dropped to her knees and cried out, "No, don't just catch it. Issue an arrest warrant, just like you would for any criminal." Well, the governor had no choice. With all eyes on him, he turned to his constables and asked, "Okay, man, who among you is brave enough to arrest a tiger?" The room fell silent, except for one man, Constable Zhang, who happened to be very drunk at the time. Puffed up his chest and shouted, "I will do it!" The room exploded with applause. People clapped him on the back. "Good man," they said. "We are counting on you." But the next morning, when the wine wore off, Zhang felt only regret. He quietly tried to return the warrant. The governor was not happy. "No," he said. "You took the job. You are doing it." Zhang begged for help and was allowed to bring some hunters. They camped out for weeks in the mountains, setting traps, chasing rumors, but nothing worked. All he got was beatings from governor for failing. One day, battered and bruised, Zhang lived to a quiet temple on eastern outskirts. He knelt down before the statue of the mountain god and whispered through tears, "Please help me. I just want to catch that tiger. I just want this to be over." And then he heard it, breathing heavy, close. He turned around slowly, and there it was. A massive tiger had walked right into the temple, calm and still, as if it had been listening. Zhang froze. He thought, "Well, maybe this is the end. At least I won't get beaten anymore." But the tiger didn't move, so he tried something crazy. "If you are the one who killed the old woman's son," he said, "then let me tie you up." He pulled out a rope, walked up to it, and the tiger let him. Not a growl, not a twitch. Zhang was stunned but grateful. He thanked the gods and with trembling hands led the tiger down the mountain and back to the county office. When they arrived, The constables nearly fainted. Even the governor was speechless. Eventually, he asked the tiger, "Was it you who killed the old woman's son?" The tiger nodded. The governor thought for a moment and said, "According to the law, a life for a life, but the old woman has no one left. If I execute you, she will still be alone. But if you are willing to become her son and take care of her from now on, then I will pardon you." The tiger nodded again, and so the governor declared the case closed. The next morning, the old woman stormed to her door, ready to raise hell. But when she opened it, she stopped in her tracks. There, on her doorstep, lay a freshly killed deer. She hadn't had meat in months. She sold the deer and made more money than she'd seen in years. From that day on, the tiger returned again and again. Sometimes it brought game, sometimes it left money, and slowly the old woman's life began to change. Her days became comfortable, peaceful, even happy. And every time the tiger came, it would lie quietly like a silent guardian. Over time, she began to love it. Years passed, and then one day she passed away. The tiger returned, let out a cry so sorrowful it sounded across a mountain. Her funeral was paid for in full, with the savings she'd made thanks to the tiger's care. At her burial, the tiger stood by her tomb and let out one final thunderous cry. The villagers, deeply moved, built a shrine in the tiger's honor. They called it the Righteous Tiger Shrine, and you can still visit it to this day. In the end, the tiger that took a life gave another in return. Even a beast, it seems, can have a soul.